pure. Don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you hide my drink? I know that I'm swaying to and fro, and that I threw up in the sink. But I swear to you, I'm fucking God too, that I did not shit in your shoes. Thank you very much. That's a song called My Bure from my upcoming grunge album Domestos, featuring other soon-to-be classics such as Smells Like a Teenager's Bedroom and a song I dedicated entirely to my love of wine called Grape Me. Anyway, how are we all doing today, lads? I hope we're all doing well. It's been a month since my last confession. These are my sins. God. So flashback to my childhood. I don't know if maybe only Irish people get this because like, or at least Ireland, Poland, other kind of religiously oppressed Catholic countries where you're forced to go to confession in primary school and stuff like that. And you get, like, it sounds horrific in hindsight because you're getting locked in a very small box with a priest and nobody else can see. You know what? I never thought to look out for a glory hole in a confession box, but you know, now that the thought has crossed my mind, I will. Oh no, Father Maloney, what's that? Those are your penance by. Oh God, I'm fucking cracking myself up. Yeah, so I hope we're all doing well. I've been on the move lately. I'm getting out of the house. Just to give you a summary of what I'll be chatting about. I don't know if we're going. I don't have an STI, which is something I'm very proud to say on a daily basis outside of the podcast even. But no, I don't have any support or failure increase for this. Not because I didn't. I don't have people who don't want to ask questions. I certainly do. It's just I'm kind of recording this podcast on short notice, so I didn't have a chance to do a post and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be a question-free podcast. I'll just be talking about myself, the single most important person in the world. As I'm sure you'll all agree. But yeah, no, in today's episode I'm covering, I went to Drift Masters in Mondello, and we'll get into that. I went to Paris, more specifically Disneyland in Paris for Connie's birthday. And yeah, and now I have a wedding coming up. Not my wedding. I didn't propose in Paris. That's a bit too on the nose, you know. But I have to go to a wedding and I need to sort out a suit, which is going to be a pain. But anyway, we'll talk about Drift Masters first. So over the last 2-3 years, I've never been big into sport, but over the last couple of years, my eye has been dragged to motorsport, more specifically drifting. And for those of you who don't know what drifting is, because I'm sure there's one or two of you out there, it's when you get a car and you go round and bend sideways. And, you know, how sideways you do that, the better you do, essentially. So it is drifting, skidding, doing twirtles, burnouts, you know. So yeah, I got big into that over the last year or two. You know, I started watching the old seasons of them, like 2017 and all that, because they're all up online. You can watch them on like the Red Bull website. You can watch the Drift Masters European Championship. In the States, they have Formula Drift, and Japan, I think, Formula Drift Japan. You know, there's different tournaments around the world. But the European Championship is the one I'm obviously into the most. But I've been gotten into that because it's lovely. You know, when you need something kind of, something you don't entirely have to focus on, even maybe you just want to have an old drink, a vodka and orange to yourself there and zone out for an evening and just throw something on. So I got into the Drift Masters through that, and then I got into a little bit of sim drifting as well. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, do follow me on Instagram. You will. I'll check. I'll come to your house and I'll check your phone. I'll be like a paranoid girlfriend. Give me your phone. Let me check. Are you still following me on Instagram? You fucking better be. And nobody else. You've to unfollow everyone else. you only should have eyes for my Instagram page. But yeah, so I got really into it. So, but I'd never been to one. I'd been to like the LZ festival in Mondello. For those of you from Ireland, might know what that is and stuff. I'd been to that, but I had not been to the proper Drift Masters Championship. But we went up there the other day. I bought some tickets, and then Connie said, I'd like to go to that as well and see what it's all about. And I'm like, okay, you probably won't like this. It's just cars making loud noise. Cars going bap, 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 and then tire smoke and, you know, backfires and bangs and car hoovers, you know, scantily clad ladies walking around show cars. And she was like, I don't care. buy me a ticket. I want to go with you. I was like, all right, fine, suit yourself. So 2 of us went off to it, and she loved it. She very much enjoyed it, yeah. And it was cool as fuck. Because there's one thing when you're watching drifting, like on the screen, you don't get the subtleties of how fun it is to actually be there. Like, you don't get the smell of fucking burning rubber filling your nostrils and the sound of the fucking cars backfiring, like reverberating in your chest. You know, it's just a different thing when you're actually there. But I will say, I won't bore you with all the details of the drifting and all that, because, you know, and I won't spoil the ending if any of you want to retroactively watch the stream. But I did get fucking torched. The weather forecast said, the sun will be out there for 2 or 3 hours at around lunchtime. And in Ireland, that's like, yeah, it'll peer through the fucking rain clouds for half a second. You know, that's kind of how it translates. But no, it came out and it was out for about 6 hours, and I got absolutely fucking roasted. Like, my entire face, my arms, my neck, everything just bright red. Again, look at my Instagram. I think I did I might have actually done it in a story, so I don't know if it's still up, but I might have done it in a post as well. But yeah, no, bright fucking red. So bad that, like, the Drift Masters was what, I'm going to say 2-3 weeks ago from now. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm still peeling. Like, I was literally just before the podcast started, I'm still picking fucking dead skin off my arm. I'm still peeled. I peeled about 3 times. Like, I'm definitely going to die of skin cancer. There's no doubt in my mind. After that day, I'm fucked, lads. I'm actually fucked. But yeah, so bad. Really, really bad. I think it's the worst I've ever gotten, because, like, my nose, I don't typically get water blisters from the sun, because typically I hide away from it. I'm like a fucking, like a reclusive vampire. I just see the sun and I run away as fast as I can until the comforting hold of the darkness. But my nose got tiny little water blisters all over. It was really fucking bad. So I was in quite a bit of pain. Heat mainly. You know, in the evening. It was the worst thing, actually. When I'm cooking stuff in the oven, or when I was anyway, it's not too bad now. When I was cooking stuff in the oven, when you open the door and it kind of get waft of heat comes out, when it touched my arms just went, ah! It was so fucking awful. But yeah, so we invested in some sunscreen. We did, and we went to Paris, and like, it was given rain for the week in Paris, but I didn't care. I brought sunscreen anyway. Factor fucking 50, lads. So we went there. So yeah, essentially what happened was, Connie's she always saw, her rule was that she always wanted to be in Disneyland for her birthday. This is something she's just always talked about. It's like, I don't want to be in this fucking country on my birthday. I want to be in Disneyland. So we went there. This is from, like, the same girl who says that she's not precious about her birthday. Like, you know, she's like, oh, I'm not one of these girls that wants a big event or a big fuss made about me. No, you just want to go to fucking Paris. Fucking women, am I right? Well, she once lost a rag at me because I couldn't get the day off work on her birthday years ago. Yeah, no, it wasn't even a big birthday. It was like she was 22 or 23 or something. she threw a strop for like 2 days at me over. But yeah, and I'm not precious about my birthday. Don't believe a fucking word of it, lads. Don't believe it. Don't look at their lips. Look at what they're doing. But yeah, we went to Paris because she's not precious about her birthday, and we went to Disneyland, and yeah, no, I tolerated it. Yep. Oh, lads, it's so fake, you know, just really fucking fake and disturbing. And this faux fucking vapid, shallow, false happiness. It's sickening. It's so sickening. Oh my God. The dancing and the smiles, and I don't think a single person in that entire park swore other than me. You know, it was just like that. Like, everybody was like really into it. But the only solace I got over there was just seeing other semi-miserable boyfriends fucking listening to their little rumba fucking women running around going, I want to do this, and they're just bouncing off of fucking walls. But no, I'll probably be doing a story about it in the future, and I'll video, because I can give you some cliff notes here to start anyway. If you're a member of Patreon or the YouTube memberships, you probably would have already heard this story in my latest video. Actually, yeah, I'll point that out. The Fart That Ruined a Romance, one of my greatest videos. I've recently done a Ducky's commentary on it, and that's available for the Duck Army. So if you want to support me and get a bit of extra content, you know, go check that out. So you can do it on Patreon for as little as £1. Or YouTube, I just did one tier on YouTube that has everything in it for $5.99. So, you know, pick your poison. But yeah, so basically what happened was, the night before we were to leave for Paris. Now, we were to be in the airport above in Dublin there for, I think it was like 4 o'clock, check-ins 2 hours before you go, and the flight was like 6:30. So it was about 4 we needed to be up there for. And the night before, Connie and myself, we're off our diets when we're going on holidays. Fuck the diets. It's like, let's just fucking eat with the viciousness of a fucking Somalian child. Like, anything goes, just eat everything. So we came off the diets anyway, and Connie goes, oh yeah, sure, look, we should get takeaway the night before we leave. Get something nice. And I was just like, oh right, yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't mind a bit of takeaway, saying we have to cook or that anyway. So she's like, we'll get a Chinese. So I was like, grand. She's like, what are you having? I goes, I'll probably get a spice box. I like an old spice box and all that. And she's like, I might get a spice box. And I said, actually, no, Connie, you probably shouldn't get a spice box. Your rear end can be questionable with certain foods, and you really want to be putting a spice bag on dodgy bowels when we're going to be fucking traveling for like 6 hours, and we may not be near a fucking toilet, in case of an emergency. And she goes, oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I'll get something else. So she ended up getting like a 4-in-1 or something. And I got a spice box. Got up anyway, like 2 o'clock in the morning, got into the car and hit the road. And about an hour into, so we were about 45 minutes from the airport, on the motorway. All I hear is, and it's not Connie's bowels, it's fucking mine. I immediately started fucking cramping something wicked, lads. I was just like, it went from I don't need to shit to I need to shit immediately. I had to bear down. Oh my God. You know what I felt like? Do you ever see those dumb trucks and they tip up the yoke and then the back gate opens up and all the gravel comes flooding out? I felt like that was my arsehole, and I was just one man trying to stop that little tailgate from opening to leave all the gravel out. I was bearing down so hard. I was actually getting so panicked because I had to shit immediately. There was no question about it. Whatever happened, I had to shit within the next 5 or 10 minutes. I'd say most. I was going to be able to hold it back for. And two, it was 4 a.m. on a motorway. There was no place I could go nearby. There was no McDonald's. Everything was closed. There's no McDonald's, no obvious place to find a toilet. It got so bad, I started looking at the ditches along the motorway. There was ditches and wooden walls, wooden fences and stuff like that. And I was just trying to spot a gap in the ditch because I was just like, I'm not going to shit myself in the car. Worst case scenario, I'm going to get out of the car, I'm going to run up an embankment there, and then I'm just going to scour in a bush. So I've never been caught short in public needing a shit in my entire life. But this was the moment, this was my fucking challenge, my trial. And I turned to Connie, and Connie was in bits laughing inside the car at me because she'd never seen me like that before in her life. But I was turned to her and I was like, do you have tissues or something on you? Because I probably will have to pull in. I was sweating. You've all been there. Do you know, when you had one of those shites, and I'm sorry to be talking about shite so much, but you're probably used to it watching me. But do you know when you have one of them shites that's so painful and emotional that you get naked while you're sitting on the toilet? I don't know if that translates to everybody, but you start taking your pants off and your t-shirt and everything. You're well, it's those people who get so cold, hypothermia sets in, and then hypothermia fucks with them and thinks, you're actually too warm, you better take off all your clothes. And then they're found dead, naked, in the cold. It's something along that lines. I think maybe it's a similar mechanism, but just there's something comforting about getting naked when you're in that much pain. But it was one of those panicked, stress, emotionally ones, and I had about 30 seconds left, I'd say, before the gates were going to open. And so I was just looking along the ditch, the hard shoulder. I was where's a good spot to pull in here now and run? And I just came around this bend, and what do I see in front of me? Lit up in the night sky, like fucking God himself placed it there. A 24-hour Circle K. Oh my God. And I was here's the thing, I was travelling at such a speed to try find a fucking gap in the ditch that I was going too fast to get to the entrance of this Circle K. So rather than, passing it by and then finding an overpass and coming back and, getting to it that way, there was no time. I literally had to bounce on the fucking brakes and swerve wildly into the fucking entrance. Nearly fucking drifted the car into the forecourt. It was so bad. And I ran up to the door. Sure enough, it was open, thank God, because not every fucking Circle K is a 24-hour. Ran up the door, in I went, and there was a chap in there mopping the floor, night staff. And I just looked at him, and I was sweating and panicked, and I was just like, do you have a toilet? And he's like, yeah, it's at the back. He knew by the look on my face that I was about to fucking spread Nutella on my sandwich. So I made it. I made it to Jackson. Jesus Christ. It came out of me with the velocity of a fucking power hose. It was like somebody put a cherry bomb inside a watermelon. It was ridiculous. It was so bad. But I made it. And that's literally the closest in my entire life I've ever come to shitting myself. So yeah, I'll probably be making a video about Disney, but it'll probably be a two-parter. It's quite a journey, but that'll be probably the main punchline of the first part, or at least one of the best bits of the first part. But yeah, what was I gonna say? There's a thing about like the shitting things. Me and my two brothers have a gradient, because one of my brothers have actually shit himself in front of his missus, and another one of my brothers, he shat next to his missus at the side of the road because he was caught short. So one of them shat themselves, one of them shat in public, and then I just about made it to the toilet. So there's the gradient of the three of us. But yeah, so we went to Disney, flying on Aer Lingus. No relation to Connie, you know, as some of you may know, Connie's last name is Lingus. Connie Lingus. Such a stupid joke. I still love it. And we stayed in the park. We stayed at like just this Woody's Ranch kind of hotel area. Like they have hotels in the park, and there are kind of like varied price ranges. So we stayed in like the second to the cheapest, which is good enough for us because we spent virtually no fucking time in the room anyway, so it didn't matter. To be honest, if I was to go back, I'd probably just get the cheapest place. That's how little time we actually spent in the hotel. But yeah, we got there anyway. And I will say, it's the most I think I've walked in my entire fucking life. In 3 days, we went there for like 4 days. In the first 3 days, we had walked over 70,000 fucking steps each. That we're averaging about 25,000 steps a day. Like, it was fucking bonkers. My feet were so fucking sore. And like, you'd spend all day, because the park is fucking huge. And we'd spend all day walking around that, and then you go home, you go to the hotel room, you go to bed, you get up the following morning, you put on your shoes and you stand up, and it feels like you're walking on bruises. It's so bad. It's so fucking horrible. Like, we did virtually everything in the park, because Connie was in Florida. Is it Florida? Disneyland, Florida, the big one, before. And because she was with there with like family and stuff like that, she didn't get a chance to do all the things that she wanted to do and go on all the rides she wanted to go on and stuff like that. So I kind of made it a rule. It's like, look, she's going to be in Disneyland Paris. Like it or lump it, Ducky, just do whatever the fuck she wants to do, so she can't say that she missed out on anything when you get back, you know? And tell you lads, it's easier fucking said than done. Because one, there's a lot to do in Disneyland, a lot of fucking rides. Or like, so many rides, so many bullshit fucking things. Like, I won't lie, she didn't make it easy on me. She turned into a bit of a fucking diva over there, and it pissed me off. It was the parades, these fucking stupid, fucking childish fucking parades of people in costumes dancing on the street to some horrible music that you'd hear in some sort of 2023 fucking Disney movie, you know? Modern Disney music just hits different, and it makes you feel, it's a bit cringe. I hate to use that word because it's a bit dated now, but it is a bit fucking cringe. But yeah, she turned into a bit of diva because we had to see them. We had to do this. We had to do that. And it was starting to boil my blood, like, because I thought if we went hard at it, we could kind of knock out everything she wanted to do in the first day and a half. You know, that kind of way. Cover the main things. And then we can relax and saunter around and kind of go at our own pace. Now, every time we did more shit, she wanted to do more shit. And because I made this rule of myself that I was just going to do everything she wanted to do, I was just kind of trapped in this niggling little fucking cocoon of do this, do that, we have to do this, no, we have to wait on this spot for an hour and a half so we can have room to see the stupid fucking parade. Bullshit. Can you tell I didn't have a fantastic time? Like, there was certainly times over there I did enjoy it. Like, we went to do these things over in Disney called, they called Raping You Blind, because that's what they do over there. It's so expensive. So fucking expensive. But they do buffets, all you can eat buffets. Now, that sounds like a fucking challenge to me, so I agreed. And went to this buffet. It was 40 quid a head for the buffet. And I kind of knew from looking at like past buffets, like buffets I will say are not an Irish thing, or even a European thing for that matter. Not all you can eat. That's more of like an American thing. Like, you can find them, but they're fairly rare in around this part of the world. But I knew a little bit about them going in. And I knew the first thing is you don't start at the start of the fucking deli counter. You go to the end, and that's where they keep all the expensive stuff, because they want you to fill your plate with cheap ingredients and then go, oh fuck, my plate's full. I can't fit these barbecue ribs on, stuff like that. So I went straight to the end and worked backwards, which I thought was fucking genius. But we ate so much. Like, I genuinely think that the restaurant made a loss on me that night. You know, because we had a huge starter, 2 huge mains. Like, we had a main and emptied the plate, cleared the plate, and then went back up and got another main. And then a big fucking plate of dessert, like fucking macaroons, or are they macaroons or macarons? I'm not sure, but the little dessert Oreo looking things. But got a load of them, and we were buckled, absolutely buckled in the hotel for that. It was like 5 hours of just lying on the bed going, I can't breathe. It was just like that. And I'm not even mad. I'm not even ashamed. I fucking did my damnedest. I fucking took care of business. I had like fucking ribs. I had lasagna. I had spuds. Oh my God. Just thinking about it now, because I'm back on my diet now. You know, just thinking about that food just kind of gives me a little bit of a horn. Like, yeah, no, I'm back on the diet now, because the problem is we got back from Disney and we have to go to stupid fucking weddings. God, I literally, like, I think in my entire life before I met Connie, I've been to like 2 weddings. And it was one of those ones that are like, they're from like cousins, but they were like close cousins. You know the way you'd have close cousins. So I kind of had to go to them. Did I enjoy them? They were alright, but I would have rather not gone to weddings. I don't think anybody other than the bride and groom enjoys a wedding. And even at that, they look a bit fucking stressed. You know, they don't seem like they're having a good time. I think maybe it's just a bride leading up to, like, there's about 2 minutes of an entire wedding a bride really likes, and that's what all this hubbub is about. But because we're going to a wedding, I need to fit into a suit, because I'm a bit heavier than what I want to be these days. So I'm gonna need a suit. But the thing is, I need to buy a new suit, because the suit I have upstairs is just a ragtag of fucking random trousers and jackets I picked up in separate places and all that. And the fashion has moved on. Like, back when I first started going to weddings, an old jacket and a shirt and a tie and pants and reasonably smart shoes, that's all you needed. But now they've introduced a new thing, the new fashion trend, the vest. And it was always kind of there, but it was always in the background. It was never in the foreground. And now every fucker has a vest, an old undercoat, or whatever you want to call them. And they do look smart. You know, you take off the jacket, they do look a bit smart. So I'm not completely hating on them. I'm just hating on them because everyone's got one now, and now I need to get one, otherwise I'll look homeless. It's bad enough I'm carrying a bit of extra weight. I need something to hide my ill-fitting shirt and my ill-fitting jacket, because I'm not really arsed buying a whole new... Like, I probably should invest in a suit, really, at this stage. But the problem with, like, investing in a suit is, first of all, they're fucking saucy enough, because they know chances are you're probably going to only buy 1 or 2 in your lifetime. You know, it's not a lucrative market, so they have to up the value there. But you're never at a happy weight, you know? You kind of need a suit that fits you, not only now, but in 5 years' time as well. And I change shape as quickly as a woman changes her mood. I'm intangible. I'm a whisper on a wind. I don't have a form or a shape. I'm up or down. That's it. My weight just fluctuates. What I do is I lose weight, and then I go, oh, I'm reasonably thin. I'm looking attractive, looking well. That means I can eat whatever the fuck I want for the next 6 months to a year. Brilliant. And then I do that, and I enjoy my life. Actually find true happiness for those 6 months to a year, and then I have to lose all the weight again over the next 6 months to a year, and I just kind of fluctuate up and down, and that's kind of my happy place, you know. Losing weight is not fun. Maintaining your weight is not fun. Putting weight on is it's a fucking blast. Eating all the time, snacking, takeaways, it's brilliant. So I just lose the weight just so I can put it back on, you know, because I don't want to end up one of these like 5,000 pound fuckers that need to be forklift out of their bed to have a lash. So I'll just that's my idea of maintaining, is just putting it on, dropping it down, putting it on, dropping it down, like, you know, and I can live happy for at least half of my lifetime rather than a dull hum of misery of constantly watching my weight. But now having to invest in a suit. Maybe if you just get a suit for when you're fat and then just have it tailored down, because I feel like it's easier to make a big suit fit a small person than a small suit fit a big person, you know? But anyway, I'm talking shit. But what we're going to do, lads, because you know what fucking time it is, it's time for Quack Me Up Corner.
Quack, 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 quack me up. Quack, 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 quack me up. Get your ducks in order. It's time for Quack Me Up Corner.
So I got a couple of dad jokes here and an ordinary good joke, you know. And people say, how do you tell dad jokes, Ducky, when you don't have kids? And I say, well, it makes me a little bit of a faux pas. That was awful, and dad joke number 1. So I hope you enjoyed that. Every time I take my dog to the park, the ducks try to bite him. I guess that's what I get for buying a purebred dog. So shit. Okay, we got a better one here. There's 3 fellas drinking at a bar when a drunk walks in, staggers up to the counter and points at the fella in the middle and shouts, "Your mother's the best sex in town." Everybody gasps and expects a fight to kick off, but the guy ignores him. So the drunk fella wanders off and pulls up a stool next to the bar at the end, and after a few minutes wanders back over to the 3 guys, points at the guy in the middle again and says, "I fucked your mother last night." Again, the guy in the middle ignores him, and he wanders back and sits down and sulks for a bit for the lack of reaction he's getting out of him. So another 10 minutes goes by. The drunk gets up again, wanders back over to the 3 lads, points at the fella right in the middle and says, "I fucked your mother last night and she loved it." Finally, at this point, the fella in the middle has had enough, and he looks at the drunk and says, "Dad, go home, you're drunk." I especially did that. I heard it years and years and years ago, but I just stumbled across it again there before the podcast, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good one." I remember that. That dragged an old chuckle out of me. What else do I have going on in the world? Old PJ's moving out of his gaff in Cork. That's coming up now, and he's having a kind of a one last bash, to see the place off or to burn it to the ground, whatever happens that night. So we're organising that, which is good now. I haven't been out saucing with the boys now in a while. I think probably about a year now at this stage. No, I think I mentioned it in a podcast in the past. But there should be a good few of us going now, so that'll be a laugh. I look forward to that. Because it's always a good laugh. When you get the boys together and you've been kind of starved for male companionship in a way. You need somebody. You miss having the piss taken out of you and no consequence to insulting somebody. That kind of way. There's nothing better than just sitting in a room full of lads and just calling each other benders and laughing about it. It's healing. It's good for the soul. I might have talked about this before, but I mentioned I have this running theory that taking a piss out of each other as a group of lads is beneficial to your day-to-day life, because when you're around with the lads and you're taking the piss out of each other, it kind of humbles you. Because I found this in the past, particularly in my younger years, where I got to where I was with a girl and I was maybe a little bit too hyper-focused on the relationship, kind of, I was but my early days in the relationship, believe it or not, it's kind of a contrast to who I am nowadays. But early days in the relationship, I was a little bit clingy and kind of like, where are you going? What are you doing? I think a lot of that may have been a result of the fact that I couldn't stop getting off with cheating whores. But you'd find yourself and you get hyper-focused, and then suddenly is she cheating on me? Isn't she cheating? And becomes the most important thing in the world, and what's she doing and who's she talking to? And then you'd spend the night hanging out with the boys and you take the piss out of each other, and it humbles you, calms you back down. You realise, what, that's not the most important thing in the world. And I don't know, just something about that just kind of gives you kind of perspective when somebody just comes along and goes, "You're acting a bit stupid, shut up, stop being a whinge." There's in this modern world, this 2023 world where everybody's kind of mollycoddled and your feelings are important and this, that and the other, and so much of that going on. And there is a little bit of truth to that, sure. But I feel like as time goes on, we're kind of missing a little bit of, I feel like sometimes a bit of tough love is actually more beneficial than somebody fucking placating all your feelings. For those of you who haven't seen the show Afterlife with Ricky Gervais, definitely watch that. There's a guy in that who's a therapist, and he kind of takes it to the extreme. It's a comedy show, but he certainly takes it to the extreme, where he's just like, this guy comes in, he's like, he's like, "Oh, my girlfriend, we're broke up and she's moved on," and he's not like, "Woe was me," and stuff like that. And he's the therapist is just like, "Oh, stop fucking whinging, will you? Grow up here, go out and write a fucking Bure there for yourself." It's real over the top. It's fucking hilarious. Highly recommend watching it. But I feel like the world is missing a little bit of that nowadays, because there is sometimes you're like, people can kind of get obsessed with being a victim, where they're like, "Oh, life is unfair, and why does this keep happening to me and that keep happening to me?" And it's just like, when you have the mindset of fucking woe is me, then everything is going to be a setback. Nobody fucking told you that life was going to be fair. In fact, the opposite is true. Life is not fair. Life is full of horrible bastards that will take advantage of you. Horrible situations you'll find yourself in through no fault of your own. Life is about, being human is about reacting to shit. That's essentially what fucking humanity and being alive is all about. Reacting to bad shit. Occasionally some good will come in it, but most of it's reacting to bad shit. And kind of how you handle that is how your life is. Like, if you're going to sit there and sulk and go, "Oh, my life is so shit all the time," it's like, maybe you shouldn't be sitting there thinking your life is so shit all the time. Maybe you should start fucking getting up and solving some fucking problems. And, actually endure it like the fucking rest of us have to do. Sorry, I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but I don't know. There's so many soft people in the world now. And I don't even like calling people soft, because it's like, you get that culture where it's like, people of that ilk coming around. It's like, too many snowflakes in the world. And it's like, no, there's places for both sides of that kind. Yeah, certainly people have gotten a bit softer, but like, you know, a bit more compassion in the world, never hurt anybody. But the other side, some people are just kind of raised to feel like they're owed something. I feel like that's got lost when people kind of go, when people say, my feelings are important. No, you look, your feelings are important to you. The rest of us don't give a shit. And we shouldn't, because we all have our own shit to be dealing with. So yeah, I don't know. Don't even know where I was going with that tangent. I've completely lost my fucking train of thought. It's just gone. It's gone. Fucked off. But I wonder, is there a service you can get where like your therapist is just like a pure fucking, he's like an anti-therapist, you know? Where you just go in there and you're like, oh, I'm feeling a bit low today. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know, take some cocaine or something. Fucking cheer up the fuck, will you? Oh God, I'm just feeling down there, you know. My girlfriend is just not giving me the attention she used to. And he's like, oh, stop being a fucking whinge. Oh God, I don't know, I find that so amusing. So I'm going to be cracking the house now since I got back, because old Max, Max has a skin condition. I'll give you a Max update. I can't remember what the update was last time. Last time he was fine. He I think it was with his cancers and all that. He came back as good margins, and his cancer might not kill him before old age does, which is, you know, the best you can hope for, I suppose. But he has this ongoing thing. He's a skin condition where he just gets really itchy, irritated skin quite often. So we have to wash him every week in a particular type of shampoo, and he has like cream for when he gets flares up and stuff like that. It's partly why he had like why he's gone deaf, because like the skin condition kind of affects his ears and stuff as well, and it kind of led him to get an awful lot of ear infections over his lifetime. But he has like a skin condition where if he sweats any little bit, his skin gets irritated and fucking flares up and all that kind of stuff. So now he can't walk. His front paw in between his toes is all flared up and scabby and infected, so he can't walk on that paw properly. So I can't walk him until he heals up. We got this like fucking, you know, he's usually grand after 4 or 5 days once we put these creams and washes and all that kind of stuff on him. But he's out of commission, which means I'm out of commission for walking, and I can't like leave him here because I feel bad if I go for a walk and he's not a very expressive dog most of the time, but he looks at you in particular ways and you can almost read it. I know it's like projecting, but like sometimes he just looks at you and you're like, you know what he's thinking, because he's well able to throw a dirty look. Like, you try to get him out of the bed to, like, clean his paws, which he hates, and you call him, you're like, get up to fuck there and clean your paws, and he just looks you out of the corner of the eye as if to say, go fuck yourself, buddy. And you're like, you fucking cheeky little shit. But, yeah, because I'm not getting out of the house now, I'm going to be cracked in here on my own. But, yeah, what other news do I have? Yeah, I've launched It'll Be Grand merch. I think I mentioned that in a video. I did actually mention that in a recent video, so I don't need to announce that. My next video, I'm taking it easy for my next video because I want it done in a reasonable time frame. So I'm doing a Q&A video. I haven't done a Q&A video in a very long time in the main channel. I do them like, obviously through podcasts and stuff. People ask me questions, and I've done like Patreon and YouTube membership exclusive Q&As before, but I haven't done them on the channel in a long while. The last one I did, I had Connie on and everything. Probably won't have her on this time because this one is not a typical Q&A. What I'm doing is I'm answering the most frequently asked questions. So as you'd imagine, I get a lot of questions, and I get frequent questions quite often, you know. So I'm going to be tackling all them. So there's one place I can point out, you know, somebody asks me a question in the comments or whatever, there's a place for them to find out that information, or I can send them to. Let me see here. So I can get you up a list of my questions here that I've so far done the answers to. There we go. So yeah, some of the questions that I'll be answering in that Q&A video will be, why wasn't Hef in the Pact? The Pact video, yeah, Hef didn't make an appearance until the first Boys video. Do your stories really happen? Why are you friends with Tony? And do you know what was in the head, Casey? You can already guess the answer to that because I explained it in the video, but still people ask me anyway, even though I gave the answer in the video that they drew the question from. Did I actually leave him in Cork that night in It'll Be Grand? In one of your school videos, you had a typo saying Dargent Sucky. Just little things. Is this Ducky a One Piece fan? Because a couple of the characters that appear on my channel are referenced off of characters from an anime called One Piece. Other usual stuff. Have you ever considered stand-up? Can I make you Rule 34 art? In my spicy bag, why didn't you use milk? You know, these kind of questions I'll be addressing. Are the horse puns real? Why don't you wear pants? If the Duck Army was invading other countries, which one would you target first? You know, typical questions I get day to day. So yeah, I'll be addressing all them. That'll be in the next video. Probably won't be as comedy heavy. It's hard to kind of answer questions in a comedic manner. It's easier to tell a funny story, you know yourself, lads. But that'll be in the next video. The video after that, I don't know. It's up in the air. Whatever I feel like doing, because I find when if I go right in 4 or 5 weeks time or whatever, I'm taking into my next video proper or next writing, I'll be like, right, the next video or the video after that will be living with the boys, something. And then in 4 or 5 weeks time comes around and I'm not in the mood to make that video, it will take ages to make because I won't want to do it and I'll keep procrastinating and kicking the can down the road. But if I don't plan a video and then I just sit down and go, right, what video do I want to make? And then get an idea and then start a video that I want to make, it goes way quicker, way smoother, and I can do a video in about half the time it would have taken me to do a video I've planned on, you know? So I don't know if that makes sense. I'm sure it does to some of you seasoned procrastinators out there like myself. Yeah. Another thing I've been doing with my videos, and some of you might have spotted, like one person in the comments spotted in my recent video, but it's AI art generators. And I know ChatGPT or LGBT, I don't know, whatever it's called. People are kind of weird about AI and AI art, but it's actually really fucking handy to find very, very, very specific images for what I'm trying to get across in the video. Because typically what I do is if I need a reference image, I'll Google. I'll have a rough idea in my head what kind of image I want to appear in. Then I'll go into Google Images and see what I can find. And 9 times out of 10, I don't find what I'm looking for, and I'll just find the closest thing that kind of gets the point across. But with the AI art generator, I can just type in what I want the image to be, and I get an image, and it's not owned by any fucking Shutterstock that needs to be paying money, or it's not covered in watermarks or whatever else. It's just really handy to have. And the bits I kind of experimented with a little bit for Living with a Woman. Creamy Dealings, sorry, I forgot what I named it for a minute. I used a little bit in that. So when you're looking at, there's a scene in that where I'm talking about Connie and I show like an anime character with pink hair. I used AI art generations to do her in that, because just to try it out, and it worked really well. And if you're wondering why pink hair Connie has pink and purple hair, in reality, I keep meaning to get Rokata to update the character and, to actually change her hair from pink to purple in her character model, just to make it a bit more closer to reality. Because like when I originally got the Connie character done, I just kind of wanted a plain Jane, ordinary woman character. And, she's since changed her style since many years back when I first got the character commissioned. And now she's more tattooed and more vibrant hair color and all that. She's slowly starting to fit my ideal woman image, It's kind of creeping in. But, yeah, I might have to get that updated soon. I was at my nephew's confirmation there recently. Well, like the afters of it, because there's so many fucking kids having confirmations. And it's not so many kids having confirmations, but they bring so many family members that the churches are packed. And my nephew goes to this like village school, so the church was just black with people. So my brother was just like, just come to the afters, it's fine, you don't like churches anyway. And I was like, yep, grand, A1, you don't have to fucking tell me twice. But went out to the afters of it and did the bouncy castle. Fucking bouncy castle, lads. There's no quicker way to turn an adult into a child than to place them next to a bouncy castle. I'm telling you. And I got busted. I just threw myself into it with reckless abandonment. And I was there was like 2, 3, 4-year-olds in there, and I was just drop kicking them at elbows, just absolutely. I stampeded clean through that, barreling through children like they were fucking bowling pins. Oh my god, there was like this obstacle course one, so it was the worst one, so we're all like racing each other, and like, so it was racing me like brothers, and fucking even race Connie. I don't know how, but I fucking bet her. It's like this, so you go in, you jump over this pipe, and then you climb this kind of like wall climb thing. It's like this 6 foot high kind of inflatable wall thing, and then you slide down the other side. But I climbed to the top of that and I just jumped from the fucking top just to beat her. It's like a photo finish. Connie was really fucking good in it. She like, they were all racing, and like nieces and nephews, they're all like 12, 13 and 8, and full of energy. They run off nuclear fuel cells at that age. But Connie, everyone was competing against each other, and then the fastest was my nephew on it. He was just throwing himself into it there. He knew the technique, he got it down, all the training, and then Connie went up against him and Connie bet him, and I was like, my god, she's the new king of the bouncy castle. But it just reinforced my desire to have a barbecue. So, we're coming into the summer now, the weather's clearing up. I want to have an old barbecue there, sling some burgers, some sausages on the grill there, few drinks, and get a bouncy castle with the one rule: no children allowed. It's just a pure adult bouncy castle fucking barbecue job, you know? That just sounds like a laugh. Like, you get a few friends over, like 10, 20 friends over, bouncy castle, barbecue, drinks, music. Fucking ideal. Proper adult great crack party. So, yeah, we need to put the wheels in motion. Problem is, it's about 300 quid to rent a bouncy castle for a weekend. And I don't know how willing the companies renting them would be when you say, oh, it's not for kids, it's for adults. We're all going to be fucking ourselves into it, pissed out of our minds. Like, adults, more responsible, but drunk adults, maybe not so much. But yeah, so we'll have to put the wheels in motion to that now. I'm looking forward to that. But feel free to steal my ideas, lads. You know, if you have an old house, a bit of a garden there that you'd fit a bouncy castle in and a barbecue, fucking throw a good, strong adult party there. Enjoy your lives. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm talking shite. I really came into this podcast wholly unequipped with shit to talk about. Usually I'm kind of like, fuck it, once I start talking, I'll think of shit. And sometimes it just doesn't work. And I think I just about scraped by with this one. Just about. Started strong and ended weak. But yeah, there we go. I hope you enjoyed a little catch up. I hope we're all doing well. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening or the rest of your month, because I probably won't see you for another month. I'm going to see if I can get more guests on, because I haven't spoken to so many of my friends on here in a while. I haven't spoken to PJ on here in a while. I haven't spoken to Skeptic in a while. I haven't spoken Corey's the one I keep putting on the long finger. I keep meaning to get back on, because we have such great chats and he's such a similar sense of humor to me. So childish and dark. It's great. So I need to see more Corey on here. So I think I'll just go, my next one won't be a solo one. It's going to be a guest one, whether I like it or not. If I have to talk to the fucking postman, I'll order shit online and I'll drag the DPD driver into the house and come in here and sit down there and tell me about your package. Anyway, lads, I love you and leave you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, good luck, and now I can't do my normal intro or my normal outro because I fucked it up. Well, I'll correct it. Thanks everybody for tuning in and listening, and I will catch you, lads and ladies, in the next one.